look at leaves the instructional area, that's probably a last-ditch effort, okay? If I try to change that, one of the problems is that by the time the kid leaves the instructional area, where are they at emotionally? They're probably at the most charged place they can possibly be and the least able to learn. That I would probably be better off to say, what leads to that? Where can I intervene in which there is still a hope of a teachable moment? You know, that probably that's not going to be the point. Now, I might, if I have a kid who escapes, some kids just go like that, I might be able to say, okay, while we're trying to get this in place, one of the other things, I may give you an escape place. If you feel the need to leave, there's a desk at the back of the room, just go on back there and sit. I will get with you as quickly as possible. It's still escape, but it's better than what they're doing now. So I'm going to build in a more self-controlled way to escape while we continue to kind of explore what's leading to that need to escape.
I have teams do the escalation chart where at the very lowest level, if the kid is on task, what does the scale do? Verbal praise. If you miss it at that step, and all of a sudden you start to see minor infractions, so I make them really look at the behavior. How did he escalate to that? What did you see prior to that? And then at each step, it's broken down into, okay, what can we do here? What can we do here?
So that looking at it, she was saying looking at de-escalation, or that should be an escalation chart, I guess, in terms of and some of you have probably seen this in terms of the crisis cycle kind of a situation where things are going good, and then all of a sudden there's a trigger, and then it goes to agitation, and it leads then ultimately out of control, and then after that the kid comes back into some kind of recovery and hangover kind of a situation. And if you look at those charts, they talk very clearly about that there are different staff directives in terms of how you handle each phase of that. And if you're not aware of that and you try either too hard or too light of an intervention in the wrong phase, it's probably not going to be very satisfactory. All right, so knowing, A, can I recognize where the kid is at, and B, what should I do? I mean, I get all the times where a student's been in a general education classroom. Now, let's say Amy, all right? Amy begins to act out. All right, she has a little temper tantrum. What might the teacher do? Send her to the resource room. Now, she just disrupted my classroom. I've put Amy in a situation, when I start asking her to do something, I've put her in, I've made one problem two problems. The first problem was, can I do the work? Do I understand the task? Now I've confronted her in front of all of her peers. Now I've added a social problem on top of her academic problem. All right, so I've probably overwhelmed her. She's going to act out more. I send her out. Does she have to come back? How, as the teacher, do I want her when she comes back?
Calm and collected.
And very apologetic, and it's kind of like mea culpa, mea maxima culpa, I want you to be repentive. That too is a social problem. What does Amy have to come back in showing?
She has to get peer approval by being bad or tough.
Yeah. Wasn't a problem. Got to deliver notes when I was done at the office. This was cool. Okay? You know what? It's hot here. The office is air conditioned. This was a good thing to have happened. All right? So all those times, we're putting kids in all kinds of issues. And I don't think sometimes we understand from a developmental standpoint just some of the issues when we put kids in some of these situations. All right? So lunch, is it lunch at noon?
12:15.
12:15. So we got a little bit of time. All right, good. Okay. Now, we have talked about Amy. Anything else people want to add to Amy? All right. Now go back to your groups. We've got about 22 minutes. I want you to begin thinking about intervention plans. Now, an intervention plan for a child like Amy involves two interventions. Anytime you've got a student who is engaging in an inappropriate behavior, you've got to find a way how you're going to make that current inappropriate behavior less effective. So if we're saying that is a way for her to escape and avoid, we've got to make it less effective for escaping and avoiding. And we have to do a behavior intervention plan in terms of what are we going to do so that she doesn't have to escape or avoid. All right, what are we going to put in place? And again, because if you're saying it's an escape and avoid, you may have to give her that, where can she escape right now while you're building the other part up. All right? So think about those. Sit down, talk about it. What would you do for Amy in terms of this, in terms of these behaviors that you've picked?